What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of for Shenmue the Animation. This is episode 9, and with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
So we pick up right after the last episode with Rio taking out a book authored by Yanda Zhu, and the first thing he finds is I think is just like this little note which contains these different characters, and of course like 4 different circles arranged in a certain pattern. Initially, he doesn't know like what it is, so I think he asks like, what was it, Fang Mei about this? Or no, actually no. What happens afterwards is like he finds what was it?
Wasn't it the old woman he talks to?
No. It's I think early on in the episode it was Li Xiao looking at a picture of herself and her brother.
Okay, yeah. Well, and, I think her name was Zhu Ying or Zhu Ying.
Zhu Ying. Yeah. And of course, yeah. Then after that, we see what was it? Rio going to the tea shop, talking to the old woman about that note, and she said that it's more of a code to symbolize that you're an ally to Yanda Zhu, and she does this by showing him an example of arranging 4 teacups in the same pattern as the note did. So Rio goes like to this other tea shop or whatever this place is, and then he arranges like the teacups in the same way that he was shown before. Then several minutes later, he gets a note to meet someone down by the park, but as soon as he arrives, he gets knocked out by someone wielding a metal pipe, and then we see him like being taken back to the temple, like being tended to.
I think this was actually like a QTE in the game, wasn't it? Like where you go to the park and like if you can fail it, and if you fail it, I think you get hit over the head, or you can actually like if you do it quick enough, then then that doesn't happen, I guess. Because as we know in the episode, he does go back. He the same thing kind of happens later where he almost gets hit over the head too. So I'm not sure if that's if that they're just trying to show off like what happens if you fail or something, and then what happens if you actually succeed. So I'm not exactly sure, but again, it's just kind of been a while since I played Shenmue 2.
And so yeah, he actually gets taken back to the temple thanks to Shu Ying, who apparently has been like keeping close tabs on him wherever he goes, and he and then like shortly afterwards he asks Fang Mei about the photo that he saw with Shu Ying, and Fang Mei of course tells Rio the story about with Shu Ying and her older brother. About like how they used to live together after their parents died, and supposedly what happened once her brother like left her alone for him to apparently go on like some kind of revenge quest or something like that, which is the reason why Shu Ying is a bit hesitant and trying to help Rio out with his mission to find Lan Di.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense now that once we learn about that.
Yeah, and of course, like the rest of the episode, like we see, I think Rio trying like a couple more times, like arranging the teacups in the same pattern, and then I think another guy takes notice of this, and like I think it was like a barber who takes a look at it, and he also mentions that he's familiar with the way of the wood, and then he tests Rio by trying to put like a razor knife like on Rio's neck to see what his reaction is, but he mentions like
basically
Rio
reacts like to, or well no he reacts at first, and he wasn't really like he was supposed to just stay still the whole time.
And of course like the barber mentions that Rio doesn't have like what did he say? It's like he doesn't have like the understanding of how.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, which is similar to what Shu Ying tells him a couple episodes ago. And then Rio also gets a tip that a guy named Ren is willing to help him out. No, I take it back. It's Rio actually finally gets the right pattern to with the cup formations, and then one guy who works with Yan the Jew meets with him, but before he can divulge any other information, I think you could say the loan sharks came to grab him, and then of course Rio steps in to try and help, but we find out that Zhu Ying is also there at the same time. Supposedly she does something to knock everyone out without her really revealing herself or something.
Yeah, I have no idea what she did there. They all just got knocked out, and she was the whole time. It looked like she was behind that, she was like hiding behind an alleyway or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Yan the Zhu's informant tells Rio afterwards to go look for a guy named Ren, and then of course Rio goes to Ren's hideout to meet up with him, but soon afterwards, after beating up a few of Ren's guys, he gets knocked out again with another lead pipe.
Yeah.
So yeah, and of course, shortly afterwards, he goes back again. No, actually, Wong helps him out and tells him to carry this lighter that's associated with Ren's gang, and tell him just show up at the front door, tell him that I have money to give to Ren, because Ren is a little bit obsessive, with making money and such.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so yeah,
it's the code word, I guess.
Yeah, so Rio finally manages to get a meeting with Ren, talking about how he can help him find Yan the Zhu, but Ren instead takes him into this random meeting where he ends up stealing a whole bag of money, and then just pretty much ditches Rio to be left to fight off with the guys that are involved in the meeting.
Yeah. And then of course Rio ends up catching up with him, which leads to this chase scene. I do remember this from the game too. I know this is also a quick time event where you have to avoid anytime Ren throws some kind of obstruction in front of you, you have to avoid it, hit the button in time to avoid it.
Yeah. And eventually they both end up falling off the scaffolding and land on the soft bed of a truck or something, and then Ren mentions I think he said he's familiar with the wood as well, and tells him about, I think the term was Don, which is is to stay calm in a difficult situation, which Rio eventually goes back to the barber and takes the same test with the barber. What was it putting the razor knife in front of in Rio's neck, and Rio just shows no reaction to it, and the barber approves of his of his ability to not flinch at that moment.
Mm. Yeah, and then of course Rio goes back to Zhu Ying to kind of, I guess in a way, confront her and tell her that he's learned about the this other tenet of the Wood. But now that, even though he fully now understands I guess all the Wood at this point, he's still going to go on his quest to avenge his father. But of course, Shu Ying, of course, still does not agree with this and refuses to really help him out. So Rio decides to, at pretty much this point, he decides to leave, go his separate ways. And of course, this kind of gives Shu Ying some flashbacks to what happened with her brother, where he just kind of left her alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty much the end of the episode.
Mm.
And well, yeah, I mean, we only have how many episodes left?
Let's see.
10,
It is
11,
like
12,
3 or
13.
4.
About four more.
Yeah, like
It's 4 more episodes left, so I think there's some enough time, I guess, to adapt the remaining storyline for Shenmue 2 before.
yeah, they're either halfway or about halfway at this point through the plot of the game.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of glad that that they're no longer dragging the plot line with Rio learning more of the wood like he did in the previous 2 episodes. But at least they're finally moving the story along. With Rio meeting up with Ren finally.
Yeah, unfortunately, there was no Shenhua scenes in this episode too, which it seems like every episode, or just about every episode, they have to put in some Shenhua scenes. So I was kind of glad for that. That wasn't there.
We also keep seeing like Rio having this dream sequence with Londi.
I think he does have some of those in the game where he has nightmares about Londi.
Yeah. But it seems like the past 3 or 4 episodes we keep seeing this vision. But eventually, like as we know, like Rio does eventually meet up with Shenhua by the end of the game, which I'm pretty sure that they're gonna get to this point by the end of the season.
Yeah, most likely. It's pretty much gonna end where it started with them, in that cave, which is how the second game ends. But yeah, I don't really have too much to say about this episode. I thought it was okay. It was, like you said, I do agree. I thought it was a little bit better than last week's episode. It just felt like more happened in this one, and it wasn't too fast paced or anything. Yeah, I don't know if you have anything else to say about it.
Yeah, it was like so far. I still think Shenmue is like a decent adaptation to the first 2 games, despite it being like about 13 episodes and them trying to adapt the first 2 games. I thought they're doing a decent job on what they're adapting and the placements of this of certain points of the story.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that they don't gloss over too much with with how they're adapting the rest of Shenmue 2. They did do some of that with the first game, but it was okay for what it was, and hopefully Shenmue 2 can kind of be the same way with how they're adapting it. But yeah, so I guess that all being said, until next time, we will see you all later.